Well, hello out there. Yeah, that's Ralph again, on my one of my little rants. Uh, has anybody out there been paying attention to what the world's been doing, what the government's been doing? It's a lot of people think I'm a nut. I'm crazy because I had this ideal that there's a group of people out there trying to control the world. Well, there's a lot to back that up. If you look back when Daddy Bush was in office, they had a thing coming through the UN called Agenda 21. This was a game plan on how to make the world a better place, how to save the earth, how that people should act and live so that Earth can, produce and be wonderful. It's a really left-wing agenda on control. Now, right now we're in a political thing going on here in America. We've got elections going on and all this stuff. A lot of people think it's the Democrats against the Republicans. It's not. It's the people trying to control everything against the people trying to want to have freedom. And a lot of people don't get that. Everybody says there's Republicans and Democrats, blah, blah, blah. There's not. If we go back in and look at our history, we can find where they became merged. The Democrats, they have their time in office, and then the Republicans have their time. Do you think there was any mistake that McCain was running against Obama? Now, I will have to say I think it should have been Hillary's turn. I think that's what she was promised for staying with Bill. But then Obama came up and they thought, nah, he can get a lot more done. When they started putting all this back together a long time ago, they never thought about the internet. Now we can get stuff out there, we can communicate faster, we can have face-to-face right there on the computer with other people. I can look up and find out what guns and shells and stuff are selling for in New York or California. I can get with other people, like-minded people, sit there and we can talk and stuff. That's why, the government's wanting to regulate the internet. Well, the government's already got their fingers in it, people. If you think that I'm sitting here telling you something in secret, you're wrong. Somewhere somebody's watching what I do. It might not be a full-time, one-on-one type look at it. What they most usually do, everything runs through a filter and they pick out words or phases or whatever, and they go after that. And if you have enough words and stuff that they don't like, then they'll start looking at you a little more, and a little more, and a little more until the black van pulls up and the guys come inside your house. Now, if you think I'm crazy, then how come they're passing all these laws against the American people? Everybody's like the Republicans, they're for freedom. I don't know. If I look at old Daddy Bush, he's the one that signed up for this Agenda 21, the new way we're going to do the New World Order in the 21st century. Bush Jr., he's the one that wanted the Patriot Act. We've had Republicans that are still in office. They keep passing the Patriot Act. The other day you had the NDAA passed. It's a slam on our rights. Everybody's like, oh, that's not what it says, that's not what it means. Go find a lawyer and ask them what it means. Read it. Sit down and actually read it. Take it apart, read it. Basically what it does is give the government rights to do any damn thing they want, people. If you can prove me wrong, I wish you would. That's the way I read it. So, I don't know. My generation has been asleep for a while. I think back, when we was younger, we liked to party a little bit. When we got older, we started having families and started making money and trying to pay the mortgage and stuff. We really wasn't watching what the government was doing. I think this has been going on for generations. The government never tried to do anything real fast or real big. It just a little bit at a time, little bit at a time, little bit at a time. If you look back in 1880 and look at what the schools were teaching our kids, what the kind of requirements they had to get out of high school, or what kind of grades they had to get and what they had to know to get out of the 8th grade is a lot different than it is today. You know, back then you could go over to the drugstore and get you some Laden or cocaine or whatever, you know. Nobody cared. You was free to do what you wanted to with your body. You know, you walk around with a gun on your hip. They didn't care. As long as you wasn't breaking no laws, they didn't care. That was your rights. That was your freedom. They keep chipping away at our freedoms. Every time somebody does something they don't like, then they take the freedom away from all of us. You know, back in the old days, when they first came out with automatic weapons, there was no law against it. I could get my Sears and Roebuck catalog. You know, I could buy me a Thompson 45 automatic, you know, get a couple big barrel magazines for it, and buy my rounds and stuff, have it shipped right to my house. They didn't care. You know, you're supposed to be an adult, you're supposed to be responsible, you're supposed to take care of yourself, monitor yourself. That's not how it works now. Now the government wants to do everything for us, and the people are letting them do it. They just keep chipping away at it. One of the biggest things I see they've done, you know, we had a Great Depression back in the 30s, and they blamed it because of people that was mortgaging real estate, was bundling it and selling it to investors. Well, they said that's not good, so they put a law, it's called Glass-Steagall Act. Well, when Clinton was in office, him and the Congress, they got rid of that. Then the banks got out there. Old Barney and Frank's boyfriend, he was over there at Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, one of them, and they come up with all these creative ways to get mortgages out there and get people to buy houses. They sit there and sell you a house, 125% of what it was worth. No money down. Then all you had to do was pay interest on it for 5 years. Then at that time, you start making your principal payments and what have you. Some of them you only had to pay half your interest for 5 years. The other half would just go on your principal in 5, 7 years, whatever, when it kicked in. Then you went from a small payment to this great big payment, and they're telling you, yeah, well, your wages will catch up with it, and inflation will catch up with you, and blah, blah, blah. You'll be able to afford it. It never happened. They knew it wouldn't happen when it did. My biggest problem is, when they loaned you the money, you bought a $100,000 house, they had to have $10,000 in assets. That other $90,000, that was just air. The Federal Reserve loans the government money. They don't have no money. They don't have a cash drawer laying around with cash in it. They don't have gold sitting over in the corner. It's just printed. It's air. They give it to the government. American people turn around. They pay interest on it. And now they're keeping the interest low, but they keep stacking up the money. This is just a taxation on America. Inflation. It's just a taxation on America. Everybody yelling about gas. Look what a loaf of bread's costing you now compared to a year ago. Look what beef is doing. Beef is twice as high now as it was 18 months ago. Why? It's inflation. Pretty simple. But we sit there and groceries go up a little bit at a time, so we don't really yell about it. Gas, it fluctuates a little bigger, higher spike, so we yell about it. We see it more. But the government, when they talk about inflation, oil and commodities are not part of the inflation equation, so it don't count. Everybody's like, the stock market's doing great, the economy's coming back. No. Right now, the Federal Reserve has got money so cheap that people are taking it, instead of putting it into bonds or putting it into money markets, they're putting it over in stock because interest ain't paying nothing. Right now, a 3-year, $10,000 CD right now is paying 1.2% interest. If you go look at oil over the last 2 years will run you about 9 to 12%. Why would I have my money tied up in a CD when I can speculate on oil and make more money at it? That's one of the reasons oil is high. That's one of the reasons a lot of your grains are high. That's a lot of the reasons the spot market's doing good. One of these days, And they'll probably be, if a Republican gets into office, they'll probably do it then. That way it'll look bad on Republicans because that's how the game is played. But the interest is going to go back up. And if interest tries to overregulate inflation, it's going to happen like it did back in Jimmy Carter's day. He wanted cheap money, blah, 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 and all this stuff. And we got into inflation. The inflation got up there where interest was as high as 18, 20%. Well, people quit borrowing money. People quit doing a lot of things. It hurt us bad. Reagan got into office, changed around and stuff. But if you look at Democrats and Republicans, don't buy into this. There's two separate parties there. The old GOP and the old Democratic Party are big government. Yeah, you have your Tea Partiers and people like this coming in on a Republican ticket, and they're more conservative. But still, if you look at the NDAA that passed the other day, the National Defense Authorization Act, and how many rights were stripped from us, and how many the Bill of Rights were destroyed in that bill, and look at how many people voted for it. It was like a 98% of the Congress voted for this. That means the people, Republicans and Democrats, stripped your rights away. Nobody seemed to be upset about it. I don't hear much about it. So I don't understand it. Looking into, I got some notes there. I was trying to remember what I always wanted to yak about. Everybody's blaming Obama for a lot of this stuff. But when it comes to money, remember Congress is the one that has the checkbook, not the president. So a lot of this stuff that the president's doing, the Republicans are yelling about, look and see if they voted against it. It's pretty simple to do. Internet. Don't take but a minute. You know, they seems like the Democrats are all about the left. They're all about this, the Wall Street people, 99%ers boycotting Wall Street or whatever they were going to call themselves. And it seems like all the Republicans are kind of against them. They don't care. This is the way I see it going to happen. You got the Obama and his crowd are for the occupied Wall Street. They're for Islam. They have no problem Islam coming in. They're letting Muslim stuff be taught in our schools where we can't teach Christianity. They don't care. They want it here. If Wall Street people, those occupiers, jump up and they start raising a whole lot of ruckus, they bring in the military to quiet it down, it'll be a little bit of a roar. But a roar will go away. But the mindset will be there. The next time somebody causes a bunch of ruckus, military comes in, there won't be such an outcry for it. If you can have Muslims over here doing things, blowing up things and stuff, and get more of the military out there, get more people scared, then the government grows. If you look at our laws and stuff that are stripping our rights away from us, is because people want the government to protect us and they're scared, but they don't want to deal with it. They want the government to deal with it. That's how they keep getting power. They just keep stripping away at us. Over in Africa, we keep sending money over there to make this, better and that better and stuff. They ain't changing nothing over there. The biggest part of Africa, what the problems are, is Islam going against and overthrowing either the Christian establishments or the pagan establishments, anybody that's not Muslim. That's what a lot of the fighting is about. It's Muslims getting power. Nobody talks about that. Everybody's like, okay, Libya. Okay, we went in, bombed Libya. That was against the law. Congress said they couldn't do it. He done it. Okay, what's the outfall from it? Nothing. Nobody cares. It's all passed. Same thing's happened over in Syria. They're like, oh, we can't get involved in it. But yet, we're selling arms to Saudi Arabia that's giving them to the rebels in Syria. Is that not what's kind of a roundabout way of being involved in it? You know, I don't know. A lot of people, they watch the History Channel. Well, if you watch the History Channel, really listen to it, the History Channel leans long ways to the left. You never hear about the History Channel, never talk about Israel as a country. It's always Palestine. The History Channel slants things to where it goes more towards the left or the New World Order's way of thinking. The other day I was watching a channel and they had a thing on there about our founding fathers. And they also had a thing on there about the Masons. Well, they connected the founding fathers to the Freemasons, which a lot of them were Freemasons. And then they put the founding fathers and the Freemasons as into the New World Order ideal of doing things. And that's not right. Our founding fathers wanted a New World Order. But the New World Order they had was what was represented by the Constitution that they presented. It was a freedom of people to think and do as they please. It is not the same thing as with the One World Order, the New World Order they call today. The New World Order today is the government does everything for the people, and all the people have to do is produce a product. They want you tending the fields, tending the factories, living in a house. Everything's run by the government provides everything. That's not what our founding fathers had, so don't let them connect each other. Also, they come on there and they act like they have the Freemasons or some kind of spooky secret society that's trying to run the government from the back and stuff. No. The Freemasons wanted people to be free thinkers, free to live out your life, do what you wanted to and stuff. It's a whole different mindset. And I don't know, it scares me at times to see what our country's doing. Our kids, they're dumber than rocks. They don't know what's going on politically. They don't know what's going on in the world. The schools, they just keep feeding them crap. They don't teach them math or science or where they can get out and get a job anymore. But they teach them a lot of social engineering and a bunch of hoo-hoo and feel-good crap. I don't know. I think we need to get control of our schools and get it back. We need to get control of our government and get it back. I kind of like this to be back in the days where the government wasn't breathing down my neck. I didn't have to worry about what I said or what I did. As long as you're not hurting other people, you should be able to do what you please. That's your left wing. That's what they're always preaching. You shouldn't say anything about gays. They can just do what they want. You shouldn't say nothing about women get abortions. They should be able to do what they want. But on the other hand, they want the government to tell us how to control everything to a point to where you don't have no rights. So it's kind of a messed up deal. And I don't know how many of you talk to your kids about this or get out there and engage them and stuff. Most kids you talk to just look at you with a blank stare on your face like I have no clue what you're talking about. Because they don't. They don't hear about it in school. Most kids don't go to church no more. They ain't going to hear about it there. Most families, the parents are too busy working to really have time for the kids. They buy them the latest, greatest CD or DVD or Xbox or new phone or and all this stuff. And that's why I find a babysitter and parents go out and try to make a living and pay for it all. I don't know, America. I think it's time for us to wake up, see what we really basically want for our country, what we want for our future generations. With that, peace out.